Did you know that in Alaska, about 25% of people that take their real estate exam fail the first time around? In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 powerful hacks that you can use to pass your real estate exam the very first try. My name is Chris. I've been a licensed real estate agent for the past 10 years, and I've been able to help hundreds of people get their license and start their new real estate career. Before we dive into the video, make sure to grab our 50 must-know real estate exam terms that you need to pass the real estate exam. There's a complete free guide down below that you can click and download right away. I think it will be super helpful. So I want to be straight with you. Most people don't fail the exam because they're not smart. They simply fail because they don't have an actionable plan that they can use. These 5 hacks are going to give you the structure, tools, and resources to give you that confidence that you need to pass on test day. So the very first hack I want to share with you is time blocking your study schedule. The first thing I want to talk to you about is not cramming everything into large blocks of studying. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive, and I know it sounds like you probably want to study more to give yourself a higher pass rate, but let me explain. If you sit down for 5 or 6 hours, the chances of you retaining all that information in one go is highly unlikely. And you're going to waste a ton of time and probably make yourself pretty miserable doing that. So what I suggest is you time block into smaller sessions. So as you go through your pre-licensed education classes, study at least 1 hour a day. And then once you complete those classes, what you want to do is you want to time block at least 1 to 2 hours a day to study 5 days a week. And you want to do that for 2 weeks. Now, there is one important thing here. At the end of those 2 weeks, you want to schedule your real estate exam right away, because so many people procrastinate so long just studying and studying and studying, and then they never take the exam because they're afraid to fail. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. Hack number 2 is leveraging study tools that actually work. There are all kinds of things you can do when you go through this process. Back when I first started, I remember just sitting there reading from this boring textbook. And I would sit there for hours, and I was getting super discouraged because I just didn't want to sit there and read text. So eventually I looked into different study tools you can use. One you can do is a flashcard setup. So if you have somebody that you can study with that's going through this process, or even just a family member or a friend that wants to help you along, then using flashcards can be a really fun way to go through this process. You can go back and forth, you can quiz each other, and you can have a little bit of fun with it. And this will help you retain the information a lot quicker. Now, if you don't have somebody, or you just want something a little bit more powerful that you can use at your own pace, I highly suggest real estate study tools. And there are all kinds of different study tools out there, but I would suggest one that gives you test-like simulations that will simulate an environment that you can practice in that's just like the actual real estate exam. When I was looking for tools, I was looking for something that I can use on my own time and that would help me build that confidence I needed. So the real estate exam tool that I recommend is called CompuCram. And if you want to check out that tool, there is an affiliate link down below in the description where you'll be able to access different sales and discounts if they're running any at this time. So make sure to check that out. So using test tools like this can make a huge difference in your confidence. Switching over from a basic textbook to something like this made all the difference for me. I was learning at a much faster pace, and I actually had the confidence I needed to go into the exam on test day, and I felt like I was really comfortable and ready to ace that exam. So I definitely recommend tools like this. Hack number 3 is getting yourself into the right mindset and headspace. Stress can make you make more mistakes than you actually think. Believe it or not, you might actually know all the information you need right now to pass the exam. But if you're anxious and stressed out, you might cause yourself to fail simply because you're overthinking things and causing yourself to make major mistakes. So one way to get around this is to start your day with a good solid meal. Get the right nutrition in your body so that you feel better, when you're ready to go into that test day. Beyond that, you can do other things like go for a long walk or a run. Get your body going, get yourself in a better positive mindset. And another tip, avoid over caffeinating. If you have too much caffeine, it can always be a negative thing and it can make you really anxious. Now, I understand it impacts people in a much different way. Everybody's different. But for myself personally, I know that if I have a ton of caffeine, it's never a good thing. But again, you know yourself best and do what's best for you and the way you feel. But at the end of the day, just make sure you get yourself in the right mindset so you're ready to take this test and try to get rid of as much stress and anxiety as you possibly can. Another way to do that is by arriving early. You don't want to be stressed out and rushing to get there on time and you're running late and you're scrambling. That's not fun, and that's going to make you way more anxious than you need to be. So try to get there early. Make sure you have everything all set the night before. You can just pick your stuff up, go to the exam center, and you're going to be there early, and you're most likely going to have time to relax before you go take your exam. Remember, if you've done the work, then trust the process. If you've done all the studying that you need to do, just trust that this is all going to work out. Hack number 4 is focusing on key terms and things that you're going to come across on the real estate exam. Some of those major things are Alaska license law, fair housing laws, real estate finance, real estate math. These are all things that are commonly found on the real estate exam, so make sure to focus in on those things. Now, if you did decide to upgrade to a real estate exam tool, a lot of these tools will have test simulations in them, and what they'll actually do is they'll show you the key areas that you're struggling with, and they'll help you double down and study harder on those. That's why I like tools like that, because at the end of the day, when you're just reading a textbook, you sometimes miss the gaps in your knowledge that you don't know, and you focus on things that you already do know rather than things that might be blind spots that might come up on the actual exam. Hack number 5 is time management and the process of taking the exam to give yourself higher odds of actually passing. In Alaska, you have about 4 hours to complete the entire exam. So don't rush through this thing. You have plenty of time to get it done, and that's the best news. Now, with that being said, here's how I would structure the way I actually take the exam. The good news is it's all multiple choice. So don't stress yourself out too much, but the questions are written in a way that can be a little bit tricky. So here's what I suggest. Read each question multiple times, at least 3 times before you submit your final answer. If you still don't know the answer to the question and you're not 100% confident that you know it, skip it. Continue on through the exam. And then when you get to the end of the exam and you finish the questions that you know the answer to, circle back to the ones that you do not know the answer to and you feel a little bit less confident on. From there, what you want to do is reread it again, and the answer might come to you right away, and that's great. But if it doesn't, then we want to use the process of elimination technique. What this is basically you eliminate the answers that are 100% wrong. This is only going to leave you with 1 or 2 answers that could be right. From there, you increase your odds dramatically of actually answering that question right because you eliminated the ones that were simply wrong. Now, I want to give you a bonus hack. Don't treat this exam like a do or die situation. The good news is, even if you fail the exam, worst case scenario, you can just come back and retake it. The only people that fail is the people that entirely quit this process and give up completely on real estate because they believe they're never going to succeed. So I do want to tell you one thing. There is no correlation to passing this exam and if you're going to be a good real estate agent. I know many top real estate agents that failed this exam multiple times and went on to be super successful. So don't let one failure or a couple failures stop you. It just means you need to study harder and give this another try. So drop it in the comment section below if you failed the exam or if you're ready to pass your exam, or if you already passed your exam. I want to definitely hear from you too. So I look forward to your responses and I will get back to you ASAP. Thanks again for tuning in.